Here we go, first official video on the channel. There's a few older ones, but I'm going to try to start making this a more regular thing. Do some trail videos, some service videos, some general mountain biking videos, or just having fun. Today I'm going to do my first ever fork service on the lowers. Try to get this bad boy ship shape for the upcoming season. It's February, actually March 1st in Colorado right now. So just trying to get it ready for the trails. I've never done this before. I've watched some videos. There's some great videos on YouTube of professionals doing it. They make it look super easy. I wanted to show a more newbie side to it. Jerry's garage type of deal. It's going to be my first time doing it. So might stumble around, might fumble, but this is what you can look forward to if you want to do your own fork service. So let's get going. So the toolbox will flip open. Let's see, we're going to need a shock pump out of here. We're going to need the Allen keys. We're going to need a pick to get our seal or our bushings out. Throw that down there. Here we go. We got some Fox oil actually. Basically any oil. I've even read people using regular auto oil. You can do your own research. I found this gold 20 weight Fox. A lot of people like that. Syringe in there. What else do we need? Oh, we got some SRAM butter here. This is going to go on the bushings. Another highly reviewed product. It's pretty pricey, but I think it's what you want to get the job done. And then a torque wrench over here. Got some gloves on. We got some shop towels, some rags, isopropyl. What is this? Yeah, isopropyl alcohol, kind of some degreaser, cleaner stuff. So that's about all the tools you're gonna need. You're gonna twist off our air here because you're gonna want to put the shock pump on here. Take note of how much air pressure you have to begin with. That way when you're setting it back up, it goes a little bit quicker for getting your sag right. Looks like I'm right at about 60 psi. So now we're gonna let it all out. Alright, I think that's pretty good. We're gonna stick an Allen key on it too, just to make sure that it all went out. Now, same thing with your rebound. You're gonna want to twist it all the way in, but make sure you know how many clicks you're going so you can just get it right back there once you're setting back up. Alright, I got about 14 clicks to come back to. I like a little high rebound in the front, that way when I'm hitting jumps and rallying the big trails, I don't get kicked, bucked. So then you want to take off your rebound adjuster. Don't take this bad boy all the way out. It's going to be the guy that stays, you twist on tight to make it stay there, but you take it all the way out, you're going to lose that. That's not going to be good. Okay, so I should have stated in the beginning that you could have taken off your fork, just had the fork instead of the whole bike in the stand. I just did service on the headset a little while ago, so I did not want to take the fork all the way off because of, I guess, laziness issues, but you can still do it perfectly fine with the bike in the stand. So got the front brake off here, get that up out of the way, hang it there. Next thing, you got two bolts underneath the fork, the compression side, actually the air side, the compression side, get that right. Got to undo those. Sometimes they say the bolts can be kind of stuck on the lower rods that go up into the uppers, so you got to undo them, and if you feel some resistance, you kind of got to smack it to get the bolts to come loose of those lower rods. So we'll see what mine's like. Now that we got the bolts out of the bottom, this lower part of the fork should just be able to come off. They say there should be a little bit of resistance. Do not tap the fork or try to, hammer it off. You can fuck it up. So I'm just going to start pulling, see what happens. If it's not coming off easy, they say you can put the bolts back in, give them some taps so that those lower rods will release. So let's see what happens. Oh buddy, yeah, it's resisting pretty good. I might have to put those in and knock it out. So you should probably have like a rubber mallet or one of those Park Tool mallets. I don't have one. So we're just going straight hammer. It's not going to hurt anything because the Allen wrench is going to be in the bolt, and then we're going to be smacking the bolt with the hammer, so it should be fine. Oh, nothing yet. This fucker doesn't want to come off. And this is exactly why I want to make the video, but first time we're doing it. I mean, it doesn't You know, it's not fucking up the threads or anything by hitting on them, so that's a good sign. Oh, they must be on there good because this thing does not want to come off. Alright, we're going to pause the video. We're going to have to do some work here. I'll let you know how long it takes me, but you just don't want to see me fumble around. Success! So that was probably 5-ish minutes since I turned the camera off to try to figure it out. I put the bolts back in, smacked it some more, still didn't come off. Went back to YouTube. There's no videos on there about what happens if you can't get them off. So basically I think it is like you really got to get those lower... Hold on a second. Okay, Google. Volume 2. Gotta turn my country jams down. So anyways, I had to put those back in there. I put them back in like halfway. That way there was enough room to hit those bolts to get those lower rods off of, I guess, compressed with these lowers. So as you can see, I put a box underneath luckily because as soon as I popped it, man, it's spewing oil. And that oil looks pretty fucking dark. So I think if it looks dark, it's probably, I mean, I don't know what that other oil looks like, so maybe it looks the same, but to me it doesn't look good. So we'll see if I can get these things off now. Oh, still doesn't want to come off. But the oil's coming out. I think I only got one out. There we go. She's flowing. All right. Never thought I'd be so happy to see a bunch of fluid flow out of my bike, but that was a pain in the ass. It's off. Okay, now you want to be careful to slide these off without scratching anything, messing up your seals or anything like that, so see how we do. Alright, there's the rods that you got to punch out of there. Yeah, it's pretty crazy looking, this stuff. Again, I'm a really new mechanic, so I'm having fun learning everything, looking at everything. Alright, next thing we got to do is pop the bushings off down here that kind of re-lube your seals up top. I actually don't even have any seals, so I'm not replacing those, and I don't have the bushings, so those aren't being replaced either, but we're going to take the bushings out and clean them up with some isopropyl alcohol. For that, we can get our pick. Got these little, they're actually gun picks. I guess gun people like to clean their guns, so these are nice. They're just little plastic guys. I felt better with those than metal because I felt metal could maybe hurt some things. We'll see how they work though. Look at that. Look at that. There's a bushing, pretty dark. We'll see how we clean that guy up. Try to get the other one out of here. There we go. Alright, so there's our bushings from inside the fork. As you can see, they're pretty dark. I would like to have replaced them, but I did not pick any up before this is going. So, SRAM and Fox both say that you should do this every 50 hours, which I think is a little much. Probably roll like 100 hours unless you have a lot of free time. So we're just going to soak these in the isopropyl alcohol and start patting them down, try to get all that oil out. Do it on here first, probably then do another clean rag, do it again. Alright, nice clean rag. Soak them down again. Alright, on the last one, I'm not going to spray anything on them. I'm just going to really try to tamp them out here. Get the last bit of alcohol out of them. So, those are looking a bit better now. Still kind of dark. I don't think you're ever going to get them brand new white, but looking much better than they were. And okay, so we got the bushings out of the inside of the lowers. Next thing we're going to do is spray this down with some more isopropyl alcohol, give it a good clean. We got a lot of dust, probably some grease from the axle and whatnot. So you got it off, you might as well give it a super good washing. That way squeak clean when you put it back on. And the other good thing about doing this is when you're wiping it down like this, you start seeing any issues or problems with it. Like I can already tell right in here I got some brake line rub, so I'm going to stick some protective clear tape over that. That way I'm not rubbing down the fork. But it's the other good thing about doing these services, you notice other things that you're not really looking for, but might show up when you're doing it. So moving on to the next part here, we're going to clean up the uppers now. It's a good time to, again, just get everything nice and polished up with some more isopropyl alcohol. While you're doing this, you can obviously inspect if you got issues, if your uppers are scratched. So next is, now we're done. We cleaned everything up. We got to put our bushings back into the fork. A lot of people, or some people, I'm not sure how many people, you either go two ways. One, you put the bushings into oil and let them soak. That can use quite a bit of oil, and this Fox 20 weight gold, I think it's called gold because it's priced like gold, it's not cheap. So I'm going to stick those bushings back in the fork and then use my syringe and just kind of put some oil around. I didn't keep track of which one's which, I don't think it matters. Just going to use my finger to try to push it back in there. Okay. I think both seals are in there nicely, so I'm going to fill up the syringe with some oil and give them a good little roundabout to soak them up. Okay, so here we go. We got the oil lined up in there, and as you can see, this oil is very nice and clean. So yeah, I think that oil was very worked and needed to be changed. I bought this bike used, so I have no idea if he ever did lower leg service during his ownership for the first half of the season. I didn't do it till now, so it might be a full season with no lower leg service. I'd probably do it like halfway through and then at the end. So it's good we're doing it now. But anyways, I'm just going to stick this syringe. There's a little tube. You can get that at any hardware store to stick on the end of your syringe, so you can get it in there and just start putting some oil around on those wiper seals. Oh, buddy. Yeah, I don't know if this is the best way. It's tough to see in there to see how much oil you're getting on there. I think I'm getting quite a bit on there, which I might have just soaked them and then sucked up the extra oil to put in the bottom. That's probably what I do. I probably soak them and then suck up the extra oil out of the little tub you put them in to put it in the bottom of the fork, because that was, I think, tougher. Anyways, we got those sealed up, or nice and oiled up. So the next thing is you're going to put some fork grease, which you want something like this, Saran butter, because it's a little bit less sticky, I guess, or like it moves better on a fork. It's not as what's that word, like elastic or whatever. So this is what I'd go for. I wouldn't go for normal grease. Check it out, it's on Amazon. I'm not doing any links in the descriptions yet. I'm not trying to make money off this. Maybe later once I'm famous. So I'm just gonna take about that much and get it on the bushing, on the wiper seal. Just wipe it all around in there. You don't want too much because you don't want it going everywhere, but I would say, a good fingering's worth. Because, I don't know, everybody might light up the comments like, oh, you're using way too much, blah, blah, you're not using enough, whatever. I think maybe a little extra is probably better, because better wet than dry, I always say. Yeah, good amount. So, now it's time to put it back on. Wipe my hand off real quick. Now, again, you're going to want to try to slide it on without hurting anything else. So, get them on the lower rods. And then they say you got to line it up, and it usually takes like a little... Oh. Alright, left one's on. Ah, shit. Okay, this is more difficult than I thought. Don't want my bushings to pop off those seals. So, here we go again. Want to get them on the lower rods, line it up. This is where it might be easier if the fork is off the bike. You can get the bike in a better position. Oh yeah. Alright, so I popped the right one on, then the left. That seemed to be the easiest. So smooth. Still rolling. Camera died, so now we're onto the GoPro. This is the new GoPro 8. Won it from Pink Bike actually, so pretty stoked to have this for next season. As you can tell, I took the bike out of the bike stand because the fork needs to be upside down when you're putting oil in it, so the oil just doesn't drain back out. Pretty common sense, but don't do it while it's the other way around. So, come over here, got some oil already loaded up. On the bolts that go in the bottom of the fork. Oh shit, did I lose one? Here's another thing. There it is, underneath another towel. Should always try to have a pretty clean workstation. Mine's a little bad right now, not terrible. So on at least Rock Shox, on their bolts, they put how much fluid needs to go in. This is on the left side, the non-air side. So I was a little confused because on the air side, they give you a different bolt, and it doesn't say anything on this one. So I didn't know, is it just 10 cc of fluid on the non-air side? Is it 5 on each or whatever? So I actually had to look it up on my phone, see if I still got it on here. I just did a quick Google, and I was trying to do all sorts of Googles to figure out what cc is and all that stuff. So here we go. I Googled this, mountain bike how to, damper drive side, 10 volume. They have 30 weight on here. From reading around, the weight's not a huge deal. I got 20 weight, so it's pretty darn close. But lower leg, 10 millimeter on the drive side, non-drive side, same deal, 10 milliliters. Those are cc's, so 10 on each side. On the screw it says 10 cc max in all caps, so that worries me a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is a little bit less than 10. I would say right around 9 milliliters, because there's already some in there when I did the bushings up top, so I think 9 will be pretty good. So here we go. Gonna start on this side, put the tip in there and give it a squeeze. They also say upside down's pretty good, because now all that oil is gonna just flush down and get the whole upper and inner fork lubed. All right, there we go. Oil's in. So next step, man, I'm gonna buy one of those GoPro mounts that goes around your head, those bungee things, so I can just wear this thing instead of carrying it. Seems like a pretty good idea. There's probably a little bit of oil in the threads to where the bolts are gonna go, so you'll probably have some pop out. See what happens here. Got the 5. Got these 2. Make sure you stick them on the right ones. Just gonna hand tighten it with this, and then we're gonna get the torque wrench out to give it the proper torque down here. Now we need to get those bolt tightened to the specifications. There's no, doesn't tell you anywhere on there how tight. So again, had to do a little Google. So, oh, now the Google's listening to me. Anyways, we did a search and came up with the manuals, so you can find these anywhere. Here's our bottom bolts, torque values, scroll over. We need the 5 millimeter hex, we know that, and we're going to 7.3 Newton meters. There's 7.2.3. So you gotta go slow and listen for the brake and the wrench. That's how you know. I had to take a little pause there because the handlebars are moving. I had to grip the fork with my left hand. I'm gonna put the GoPro on my mouth, so I'm not gonna talk that well. But I'll show you guys kind of where you know the torque wrench is good. The wrench kind of breaks, and that's where you know you're at your torque setting. All right, so that side's done. I'm going to do this other side here, and then we're going to put it back in the stand and get all our rebound settings, our rebound knob put back on, and then also our settings all put back together and aired back up. Okay, so funny thing is, after wiping up a little oil, I saw this right here. It's upside down and it's scuffed off, but you can see the torque setting used to be there. Not anymore. So maybe your guys' fork still has it. If not, you can look it up. Okay, so last things. Remember, we took off our rebound adjuster knob. You got to unscrew your little hex bolt there. I think it's a 2.5. All right, now shock pump. And you're not going to feel anything because we zeroed it out. So here we go, back at 0. Let's pump it up to it was 60. All right, we went a little bit over, and we can come back down, and we're going to go to about 64, because when we untwist, we're going to lose a little, and then we'll go test her out. All right, here we go. We're outside again, March 1st, lots of snow. So we're just going to test this bad boy out. Oh man. That thing is feeling fresh. Test ride complete. Felt super smooth. I should have test rode it before, so I had like quick comparisons, but to me it feels a lot better. I bet you that was the first lower leg service out of a whole season, so it definitely needed it. You know, I'd say it took me, with filming, like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So if you're just on your own, maybe an hour you get it done. Again, the toughest part was getting those lower rods out of the lower fork, but you just got to tap it pretty good. I would, you know, take it easy at first, but if you need to apply some more pressure, don't be afraid to do it. That's what I had to do. Like, I tapped it 4 times, I think. Yeah, I think it's a good thing to learn at home because it, you know, saves you. I bet you a fork service at a shop's around $100, so it saves you $100. All the stuff I bought is going to be able to do at least like 5 to 10 fork services, so it's not that expensive. And it's pretty fun. I mean, working on your bike is, to me, like a fun time. You get to learn what you're riding, learn about the different components on it. So if you're interested in being a home mechanic, it's definitely something like a service that I think is you're fully capable of. There's great videos on YouTube from GMBN, has a great video. That's the one I watched. My video I wanted to do just because it was my first time. Like, I didn't know what I was getting into. I did it on a Sunday, so I had like 5 hours if I needed it. There's no bike shops open right now, so that would have sucked if something went wrong. But, you know, check out their videos, watch it. But if you want to see the whole 1-2 of like a guy stumbled through it, dropping bolts, having to tap 4 or 5 times, all that good stuff, then check out my video and subscribe if you want. I'm going to be doing more. I'm going to try to do a rear shock, easy service, just clean up before the season starts. But mostly I'll just be out riding trails, having a good time, and showing you guys what it's like out here in Western Colorado.